This is something that the metro area needs to take seriously right now. You only have a couple more minutes before this is on top of you. Continuing along that path toward the heart of the city, may continue toward the French Quarter, City Park, Gentilly, and beyond.
Taking the same exact track as that last one.
On the east bank from Araby to Bywater, get into that tornado safe space right now. This looks like it'll continue because this is moving over a very large part of our population and a very large part of Metro New Orleans. The new information is coming in rapidly, and I'm trying to get it organized and get it to our viewers right now.
December 14th, 2022, like many other dates across southeast Louisiana, will be remembered for quite some time thanks to the severe weather outbreak. Multiple tornadoes ripped across the area, two of the strongest ones down on the South Shore. The first one, an EF2 that ripped through St. Charles Parish, taking the life of Allison Alexander. The second one, an EF2 as well, ripping through the West Bank and then over towards Araby, causing extensive structural damages, some injuries, but fortunately no loss of life. WWLTV reporters fanned out across the region to bring you the stories of people who rode out the tornadoes on Wednesday, December 14, 2022. Here are a look back at some of the most powerful images and moments.
Scariest thing of my life. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I don't know what this could have been to do this.
When Michael Willis was running errands Wednesday on the West Bank, the sky got dark.
Normally you can see something coming. I promise you. I didn't hear anything or see anything.
While gathering supplies for a weekend toy giveaway through his organization, Hope, Willis found himself in the path of a tornado.
This is where I was at.
Sitting in his SUV on Franklin Street in Gretna, he says the tornado lifted him up.
It happened fast, and I've never been inside of a tornado before. I'm looking at wood, buildings, all in the same spin. Like it's spinning with me, and then it gets slung me out.
Willis says he immediately started praying.
What went through your mind after you knew that you were safe?
I ain't know I was safe. I thought it was coming back. Like the power wires, everything was everywhere. And then it started raining hard.
That's when he started recording this video of himself.
I don't even know what to do.
Looking at his SUV, he knows how lucky he is.
I tried to play hard for a second, and then I balled up like, nah, God, I ain't ready to go right now.
Debris smashed through his windshield and busted his passenger window. He says the tinting on the glass stopped anything from hitting him.
This tent saved my life.
Willis says he called 911 but was told it'd be a while before crews could get to him. So he took his SUV to his daughter's house in Algiers.
I drove it with my head out the window.
Able to drive and grateful to be alive.
At 2:12 p.m., the tornado struck.
And I'm like, oh my God, is this what I think this is or whatever? And it just got louder and it got louder or whatever. And I just closed the door and I went back in my room and I sat down on the bed, just, praying, just like, Lord, just, let us get through this.
Some would, others would not. According to the St. Charles Sheriff's Office, a 56-year-old woman was found dead outside her home in Kelowna.
Mom knew her good. My brothers or whatever, my son, they knew her or whatever like that. She, they say she was a sweet, kind lady. She'll do anything, for anybody.
The sheriff says the tornado carved its path from the small town of Kelowna, then jumped the river to Muntz.
We have 8 people who have reported to the hospital in Luling, St. Charles Hospital, with injuries which I'm told are non-life threatening. There also were a couple of homes damaged in Muntz. I'm not aware of any injuries that were reported there.
The storm left cars flipped over and homes torn apart.
We literally had to come in and chainsaw our way through trees to get onto the roads to try to do recovery and life-saving measures that we could.
Officials say at least 10 power poles were down in Kelowna.
They're probably not going to get power on in this community tonight. Maybe parts of it tomorrow, but that's probably not going to happen tonight.
Deputies will be patrolling the area overnight to protect properties, as the parish president, Matthew Jewell, urged residents to seek assistance at their shelter in Luling.
If residents do need a place to go to just get out of the weather, we are asking them to go to the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center. If they need transportation to the community center, we ask that they go ahead and call the EOC.
A small community now working to overcome a big loss.
It looks like a bomb exploded on Romaine Street in Gretna. There's debris everywhere you turn. Power lines are down and homes are damaged, some destroyed. Nick Randazzo says a strong tornado ripped through his home, a 90-year-old former church, in the blink of an eye.
It happened so fast. There was a lot of noises. You heard the windows blow out, and then you heard a lot of wood cracking, and it was gone. And I'd say all of this, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, that's it.
The back of Randazzo's home is gone. The roof separated from the rest of the building, and part of the building appears to be knocked off its foundation. To give you an idea how fast the tornado moved through Randazzo's house, it launched a 2x4 through his wall like a spear. What's going through your mind right now as you look at this damage?
The effort and work it's going to take to clean up. I've been through Katrina, every hurricane, the last one last year wasn't that bad. This is the third time in 2 years the fence went down, so a lot of effort to clean up.
The tornado ripped part of the roof off this apartment building, and the owner of this house told us she was close to finishing the repairs from last year's Hurricane Ida when the storm dealt it another major blow. Otis Williams has lived in Gretna's McDonoughville neighborhood all his life. He says he's never seen damage like this before.
There's a house around the corner that shifted off its foundation. I've seen windows blown out. I've seen roofs gone. It's bad.
Gretna officials held a news conference to discuss the tornado damage. Mayor Belinda Constant said the city is now under a state of emergency. She also confirmed one tornado touched down here, then jumped the river and hit Araby in St. Bernard Parish.
I'm happy to be able to say at this time there are no reported deaths. We did have 3 injuries that we know of that went to the hospital. There are some families that will be displaced and have been displaced this evening, staying with family members. We've had hundreds of structures damaged or destroyed in our city.
The whole roof is gone. A lot of it had came in, and the whole back of the house is missing. If they wouldn't have been in the bathrooms or in the closets, they would have been dead.
Ronnie Alonso works for St. Bernard Parish. He also lives across the road.
Myself and a neighbor went in and we had to kick in the door.
He knew his neighbors were inside, so sprang into action.
There was an elderly lady and her son on one side, and they were both in the closet. And, they talk about the closet and getting in the closet or getting to a central part of your house. Well, they were in the closet, and it saved their lives.
He says at first he didn't hear any screams for help, so feared the worst.
When we got in, they were screaming. Actually, they were crying, but I believe they had gotten to a bathroom.
What it did, it got windows blowing out and damaging the sanctuary, and also our tents blowing down. And we were scheduled to do a food outreach on Saturday.
Pastor Collins from the Christian Fellowship on St. Bernard Highway says he just replaced the roof after Ida.
It's just a setback for us to come back.
The St. Bernard Parish Sheriff's Office says at 4:06 the first transformer blew.
We had 2 tornadoes strike the same areas. It's absolutely amazing to me.
A long night ahead for cleanup crews.
We're going to be at it tomorrow, cleaning up. If you're going to see crews in the street, we will have a right of entry form for you to sign.
We're still in months. We came down River Road just a little bit, and we are here on Etienne Street. I want to show you these trees that have been knocked down by that powerful storm here. Even so much the power lines, you can see there are down wires. In fact, Entergy is looking to get some of these fixed right now. But I met a woman, her name is Mary Kinney. She lives right here in this home. She was in her trailer because that home was being fixed since Ida. She was in this trailer, heard the storm, went outside, saw the tornado coming, and then ran into her home, got into a bathtub and hid with one of her loved ones, and the storm took her brand new roof off of her home, but she is okay. I want you to just take a listen to what she told us just a few minutes after being out of her home.
We were sitting in the house, and our cell phones in the trailer, and our cell phones went off. And I said, Devon, we got to get out of here. There's a tornado. And he said, the sirens didn't go off. I said, I don't care. There's a tornado. We got to go. And we ran out the trailer, and we could see it coming across the levee. As soon as we got in the house, we got in the bathroom, in the tub, and our ears started popping, and everything was gone, and everything was falling on us. And we just held on to each other and prayed. We just prayed.
Yeah, listening to her just describe what she heard and saw, I mean, it was very harrowing to hear. She was very scared, nervous. She said she texted her son right before this tornado hit, saying she's about to get hit by a tornado. She said that she was thankfully able to talk to her son right afterwards and let her know that she is okay, but obviously upset that her home has been damaged, and now there's more work to be done here in months for this whole community to get back together after Ida and now this. Reporting in months, Whitney Miller, Eyewitness News.
The EF2 tornado did not spare the Winn-Dixie in Marrero, taking with it the supermarket's roof, leaving behind a mess of debris and an extensive cleanup. The tornado ripping through the centre of the store. These aerials show the damage. Moving at 125 miles per hour, it barreled its way towards Gretna.
I took the dog, we got in the closet, and no later than maybe 2 or 3 minutes, the wind picked up and it came through across the street, come through the front door of my house.
In its path stood Trent Terriot's house.
It was like a freight train, a loud noise, and a big, like a dynamite blew up in the house. It was real loud.
Trent was listening to the weather updates when he realised it was coming straight towards him.
That's where I was sitting watching TV when a beam came through.
A beam of someone's house hitting the very spot he was sitting moments before he took shelter.
I was hoping I'd get out of there alive, and thank God I did. I praise Jesus for that. I'm here today. I never want to experience that, never again.
He crouched inside this closet, praying he'd survive.
Me and a dog, we was trapped in because the furniture was against the closet doors, and I was smelling gas and the lights were still on, and my neighbors across the street kind of saved me, kicked the door in and trying to get me out of there. I mean, tore off everything.
The aftermath, worse than anything he imagined, while inside the very closet which saved his life.
And when I got out the closet, I was so happy to see daylight.
The storm so powerful, his entire house was lifted off the pillars.
The house shifted this way. The house was supposed to be over here.
It always just hurts a little bit more than it did before when you see the destruction, especially in your own city.
Stosh Kozlowski from Benton Tree Service using his machinery and manpower to help, free of charge.
I think this is a good way to give back, especially during Christmas and the sentimentality of that whole thing, and it just seems like the right thing to do.
In the midst of chaos, Trent and his neighbours held each other and prayed. This angel, the very one which stood by his mother's gravesite, untouched by the storm that could have very well taken his life. Eleanor Tabone, Eyewitness News.
We were here on Romaine Street last night after the tornado hit, and in the light of day, you could see the full impact of the destruction that descended on Gretna's McDonoughville community in a matter of seconds. From the air, you could spot the tornado's path of destruction across the west bank of Jefferson Parish. It ripped roofs off of buildings, knocked homes from their foundation, and brought down trees and power lines. The tornado seriously damaged the JPSO Training Academy and firing range. It also hit West Jefferson High School, where debris covered the campus and crews worked to cover a hole in the roof. The tornado dealt a major blow to streets like MacArthur and Maple Avenues in Harvey. Gretna leaders say the tornado's impact is considerably worse than their original damage assessments. Oliver Young says his house may be a total loss.
All the windows bust up. The back part of the house is pushed in. It's caved in, man. I don't even think you can recover from it.
Gretna Mayor Belinda Constant said that tornado victims in the city who need a tarp to cover their roof can pick one up tomorrow morning at City Hall beginning at 8. And Police Chief Arthur Lawson warns that there will be additional police from Gretna and Westwego patrolling the streets tonight to help prevent looting. In Gretna, Paul Murphy, Eyewitness News.
This is the last family picture that we took.
For Yvette Raymond, a picture doesn't quite capture the love and light of her oldest sister, Allison Raymond Alexander.
Okay, that don't be the life of the party.
A party cut short Wednesday after a tornado tore through Kelowna and ripped her home apart. Allison's body was found outside. Neighbors called Yvette with the news.
Betty, I'm serious. Your sister not breathing. Allison, your older sister. And I just hung the phone up.
Yvette doesn't know where she was in the home when the tornado hit, but she knows Allison was alone and may have hit her head when she was thrown from the trailer.
And when I got here, it was just not nice. And I just thought she was just hurt. And nobody wouldn't say nothing, and she was gone.
Thursday, families came to pick up the pieces and knock down the debris covering what was once home.
I would rather lose everything if I could just have my sister back.
A time to reconcile with the bitter fact that their family's light is gone.
I regret that I couldn't come this weekend because that would have been my last chance to, to hug on her. You never know when.
That's right.
You just never know when.
Her number just was up, and it was time for her to go home, And we're gonna she gonna always be in my heart, and I always love my sister. She's my oldest sister. Yep. And me and my other two sisters, we just got to cling to each other and just be there for our mom.
Terry Johnson owns this strip of businesses in Algiers.
We sound like a train come through.
He's counting his blessings after a tornado wreaked havoc along General Meyer.
There are people around there that lost their whole house. So I can't cry about, so.
Instead, he's doing what he can to help crews working to restore power.
Look like they're pretty much doing all they can do, so that's why we're feeding them, We actually have free chicken out, before it go bad.
Next door, a barber shop forced to cancel appointments.
Chaos. It looked like a bomb hit this place, I'm just glad to be alive.
Johnson repaired the roof after Ida, only to have it damaged once again.
We don't have any roof in the back.
Rain soaked the businesses overnight.
We've been here for like almost 18 years in this spot, so a lot of sentimental value stuff that possibly we'll have to throw away.
In the back, the body shop's cars had their windows blown out and shattered.
People depend on me, and I appreciate their business, and I gotta fix it. All we gotta do now is just clean up and try to get back to work.
These men focused on what lies ahead instead of the storm behind them.
I'm gonna try to help as much as I can, but right now, the thing is to try to rebuild. Let's look forward, and try to put this thing behind us and prepare for the next one, because we're pretty sure something else is gonna come.
December 14th, 2022 will go down as one for the record books here. And now Southeast Louisiana is doing what it does best, preparing to help each other through the recovery and rebuilding process. If you would like to help by making a donation to the United Way Tornado Relief Fund, go to our website, WWLTV.com, or scan the QR code on your screen right now.